Yo, so David Benavidez calls out Jermall Charlo, says if he moves up, he's going to knock him out. We're going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, we got a new call out. David Benavidez recently called out Jermall Charlo. He's talked about it a couple times, and he did several interviews. So this is going to be kind of a collection of different interviews and me paraphrasing, but you can find all these interviews online. And basically, David Benavidez called out Jermall Charlo, said it would be a great fight. He's a great fighter. But if Jermall Charlo moved from 160 up to his weight, 168, he feels he would knock him out. Now, he also said that he wants the big fights. Like he said, Caleb Plant, and he sounds like almost like a dog off the leash. Like he wants the big fights, but he says sometimes PBC, they let the fights marinate, and he said he's ready to go now. He's in a good headspace. He's training. He's busting his ass, and he wants to see the fight. So I kind of want to talk about that. Caleb Plant, that's another good fight. I mean, David Benavidez is money. You know, he's fun to watch. So no matter who he fights, I think you'll see almost a show. He has very, very malicious punches, hand speed. He got that dog and grit. I think it was his last fight with Angulo. He was punching, and you can hear him like grunting with the punches. Like he's really trying to hurt the opponent. Outside the ring, he's a bit more mild-mannered, but you know, he still trash talks a little bit. And him versus Caleb Plant is a great fight. He says that he thinks Caleb Plant would opt to try to sit out and wait for a Canelo fight. And as much as I want to see David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, I think either guy, David Benavidez or Caleb Plant, would love an opportunity to fight Canelo. And that's a huge opportunity in a big bag if Canelo, who looks like he's fighting Avni Yildirim and then Billy Joe Saunders, does decide to, after that, come to PBC. He's a free agent. You know, those are big opportunities, are big fights that I don't think either guy would probably pass up. So another fight that could be made would be David Benavidez versus Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo, just from looking at him, he looks definitely big enough where he could fill out at 168. You know, it would just be less of a weight cut for him. He has entertained the fight of fighting Jermall Charlo. David Benavidez. And I think it's a great fight. It's a very interesting stylistic matchup. I feel Charlo has an excellent jab. If you watch his fights, his defense, a lot of people don't think about Charlo when it comes to defense, but his defense is pretty tight. You watch even guys like Sergey Derevyanchenko gave Gennady Golovkin, "Hey, no guys, Max's punches nothing, tick 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 nothing," right? He gave Golovkin a lot of issue. I thought he beat Golovkin. Derevyanchenko then went on to fight Jermall Charlo, and he got ate up. He got chewed up. Jermall Charlo, you know, just credit to him. Great game plan, great strategy, great power. His foot speed was able to keep up with Derevyanchenko, who likes to turn. And you know, you've seen Jermall Charlo pivoting with Derevyanchenko, jabbing, and just offsetting everything that Derevyanchenko was trying to do. And by the end of the fight, his eyes were all swole up and bashed in. So that was a great performance. Now, David Benavidez, that's a different animal. He has a different fight style, and it'll be a bigger weight. So I don't know if Charlo would opt to go straight into the fire with David Benavidez, or if he would try to acclimate to the division. But either one, I think, is reasonable. And if they build to that fight, I have no problem with the fight. I think it's, again, an excellent fight. I really enjoy both fighters' journeys. And I think David Benavidez, you know, sometimes you forget how young he is based on the performances and, you know, his size and demeanor. He kind of acts a bit more mature. That man's hand speed is vicious. I always, when I think of David Benavidez, I always trace back to that fight with Porky Medina, where he released this like 8-9 punch combo or something that it just looked crazy. looked like almost like a video game, the amount of times he hit Porky Medina before knocking him to the canvas. And that's one of the moments that sticks out for me. So Jermall would have to deal with that type of hand speed, or Canelo or Caleb Plant or whoever fights David Benavidez. I think to fight David Benavidez, you got a bit of size. I believe he's about 6'2", 6'2.25", something like that. And you're going to have to deal with the fire, I guess you could say. You're going to have to walk through fire potentially to get that victory. But I think that's a high-speed chess match. Both guys are smarter. I think Charlo has more levels of slickness and defense, but then David Benavidez has an amazing array of punches and an arsenal of punches, plus the size advantage. I think he would be bigger. I haven't really seen him and Charlo next to each other, but based on the fact that he's fighting at 168, he will have to manage his weight, because the whole reason Canelo is the WBC champion is because he missed the weight coming off the pandemic in his last fight with Angulo. And then, you know, the WBC, we back Canelo, they found an opportunity in David Benavidez missing weight, and they decided to make that offering to Canelo and vote and basically allow him to fight for the vacant WBC strap. And it's bad business what the WBC is doing with Canelo, but I'll save that for a whole separate video. It's just they're showing a lot of bias and a lot of favoritism towards Canelo. But David Benavidez, he did lose the belt twice, so you have to blame him for that. The first time he tested positive for cocaine, and then the second time he lost it on a miscalculation with his weight. But, I'm not, the cocaine was, definitely unnecessary. I'm not as hard on David Benavidez missing on the scale because it was a global pandemic. People were worried about their jobs and when they're going to get their next paycheck, what's going to happen with their careers. And, a lot of people picked up weight in the pandemic, and there was a level of uncertainty. And it was, he was the first fight back on Showtime, so everything was just real fresh. Showtime, they didn't have their regular gym facilities open because it's Rona virus and testing protocol. So they didn't have a portable sauna or a sauna room that he could go in and stuff like that. Everybody's in the bubble. It was just a whole unique experience, which had we not been in a bubble, that wouldn't have been the case. So I am willing to not overlook, but just cut some slack to the situation. Now, going forward, he's gonna have to make his weights, because there will be no excuse. Fool me once, shame on me, or whatever the saying goes. You guys know what I'm talking about. But all in all, I like Benavidez. I actually love it. Benavidez versus Charlo, definitely a fight that could be billed. Chris Eubank, that's a fight that I did want to see for Charlo, but he teamed up and signed with somebody else. So I don't know how likely that fight is, but Charlo, Benavidez being under the same roof with Al Heyman and PBC, that's definitely something that they could get cracking. I also seen David Benavidez pops recently said they offered a fight to Edgar Berlanga, and Berlanga's people said he wasn't ready or something like that. So I don't know if that's true, but that's just the rumor. So this could be a fight that should be easy to make because it's not a top ranked fighter. It's not someone signed with Eddie Hearn. It's an in-house fight. Let me know who wins and how they win. Charlo, David Benavidez, great scrap if they can make it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.